Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. We are back at the $12,000 house. Someone just moved out and there are some notable things I wanted to show you. This will be the roughest move out that has occurred so far. First thing I'll show you is all the ruts and stuff that occurred. This is from a moving truck trying to get the most convenient spot backed up to the porch there, backed into that 4x4 there. Instead of just parking here like normal and just bringing the stuff outside, they tore the yard up, banged into the porch, and then probably ultimately didn't even end up getting the truck where they wanted it. A lot of small trash in the yard, pizza box under there. There's like potatoes around back, a baby diaper hanging in a tree, all kinds of stuff. Threw some trash bags over on the edge of the woods. Again, I'm not a stranger to sort of that bad renter disrespect, but it's still annoying when it happens and just proves my negative thoughts are true about certain things. But you see here, dirty porch. I think this was from putting trash bags on the porch, like cats tearing trash bags open. Silly thing to do. I'm just letting it happen for a year and a half or however long they lived here. Don't need to shut the door, we'll let the light in. We'll do kind of a quick tour through here. The interior of the house is not terrible, but there's just a few things that really are a bummer. So this is a spot where the vinyl plank flooring got messed up. I have no idea what happened here to cause this exact thing to happen. It's like the clear coating has come off. It's like it's almost melted, but it's like in this weird shape. It's not like there's like one spot where it's a leg of a sofa or something. There's one spot where I kind of cut it off. It looked like this. Then I cut it off to look like that. Once you stand up, it kind of pretty much disappears. So I might just do that and see how that goes. But one of the issues with the flooring, some of it came apart right here, and it broke the little tabs and the tongues off of it. So that's a shame. So that's going to be probably the biggest deal thing to address outside of just sort of the normal cleanup. For those of you not familiar, this is a one-bedroom house, completely gutted, rebuilt walls. I even tore out the whole floor system in the back, put all that in. Reframe walls framed walls all around the interior. Used to be cinder blocks. It was a rough little place. You go back, I'll put the playlist to this entire project at the end of this video. So this is the kitchen. So front door, living room, bedroom, kitchen, storage room, and the bathrooms through the living room. Things in here, you know, kind of like normal to be expected things, but these stayed in great condition for the first 3 renters, and then this person kind of did the majority of everything you see. The only thing that's from the last renters, I fixed, I spackled up holes, but then I forgot to do the touch-up painting over the spackled holes. But that's only those and like a few of these marks here and there. But then all the rest of these like newer nail holes are from this particular person. Damage like that where some chair was like kind of eating into the drywall. Random dirty, greasy looking spots everywhere. Inside the refrigerator is dirty. There's a crack spot in the bottom. That wasn't like that. All these appliances were brand new. Nothing too much in the kitchen. Just the issue with the floor. One little crack in the mini blind. So always replace the blinds in houses if they have any issues, because it looks so much nicer for them to all be in good condition. And they don't cost much. But still, people are rough on them. I don't know how they tear them up so much. So this is the little laundry room. Nothing in here to report. Right here, look at the dirtiness to the left and right of the porch, and then the dark spots on the wood there. That is from them opening the door and dumping out their cooking grease right on the ground. But it's all dug out like 6 inches on either side, and that I think is from like animals coming and digging in the dirt. So that's silly. Then it looks like they were just kind of tossing some trash back into the bushes. And then this one right here, that's a baby diaper hanging from some briars. You know, come on. Luckily, nothing happened with the counter. So the floor is the biggest like bummer to me that happened. And I'm gonna see if I can't kind of fix this. I think behind this panel slid under the bathtub. I think I've got some extra flooring, so it might be enough for me to figure out how to kind of fix this. I've never gone back in. This is the first time I've ever fooled with this stuff, laying it. So I've never gone back in and had to repair any places in it. So might watch a YouTube video about that. Down at the bottom of this door, the door's kind of a little messed up. You know, how did this happen? I don't know. Somebody kicking the door. Maybe a rough move out. Blinds messed up. Big greasy, dirty spots around where the bed was. Let me get this on the wide angle. I don't know. But there's a lot of the stuff is normal. So it's like, I'll say all the normal stuff, plus like a couple of things that are just sort of on the upper end of being annoying. Not the upper end, a higher end. All these little, I don't like when people do all this stuff, because you'll put something like that on, and then when you're trying to get certain things off, this one's easy to get off, but like things like this. You know, they had some sort of little metal hooks that hung on them, but the hooks are gone. So now it's just this worthless, you know, clear pieces of plastic that had been double glued right to the inside of the shower surround. I'm not even sure how to get those off yet. They might just have to stay. But like stuff like that, it's just like slowly builds up, and then the place looks rougher and rougher, and people just don't care as much going forward. So that's the shame of it. This seems to be okay, other than like a couple of little mystery chips right there, but there's no like water damage underneath there. So that's about it. So the first step is going to be, I'll probably go ahead and do sort of the touch up on the walls, and then address all of this muddy business out in the yard. And then the water's not on, so hopefully I can hook up to some neighbors' water if they'll let me. And I want to get some cleaner down on all the wood, and then pressure wash it off. Lightly pressure wash it. You can over pressure wash wood, but see if I can't start the process of getting this kind of degreased and cleaned up a little bit. Someone has already, this person moved out, I think 3 days ago. Someone has already applied, and I don't know if they've been approved, but they've already applied for this place. So that is one good thing about it is people in the videos commented that it's a house in the middle of a trailer park, and there are some trailers on the street. And it's not like the nicest street in the world, but there's nothing terrible about it at all. And but this house has always been in demand. I've never lost a month of rent on it. So the only reason I would lose that month of rent, it seems like, is if I'm slow fixing a place up. And there's nothing other than me whining about it. There's nothing in here that's really all that slow to fix up. Again, except the floor. You know, I'd say that is kind of significant when you're doing everything on your own. Somebody, I think, that is an experienced landlord that's got a lot of stuff going on, getting a decent cash flow off of a bunch of different properties, and just can get someone to come in and fix it. You know, you just have somebody, they come, they disconnect the floor, they replace it in the kitchen, and it's done. And someone comes in and does the cleaning, someone comes in and does some painting, and you bang out a place like this in 2 days. You know, for me, it'll just be a little bit slower, and trips to town and stuff like that. I'm just not at that point where I can kind of roll quite that fast. So that is it. Thank you all for watching. As far as the $9,000 house goes, people have been asking me about that. I'll be back on that really soon. Just kind of shift from one thing to another, and plus there's the whole other life I live y'all don't know about. That's not supposed to be mysterious, just being a normal guy. My YouTube channel is something I started a long time ago, and I've had other things develop since then. So I tend to those. But yeah, I think y'all pretty much know where I left off on that project, and I'm hoping to be back working on it in the next week or two. So I'd say a video might come out on it in about a month, or within the month, hopefully. So we'll see. Then I'll continue on with the I keep kind of giving it different names just because it can kind of be anything. But basically the building that my sawmill is in, and it'll have the cool lofts and everything, will be part of it. So all that will kind of continue. Currently working on the windows, but just wanted to give you an update on this place. Always liked it. Still glad I have it. Just a little bummed when people don't take quite good care of it as they should. Mobile pressure washing service at your service. So the house doesn't have any water on right now, and the neighbor didn't have a spigot or doesn't know they have one. It's an older woman. Didn't want to mess with her too much when she said that she didn't have one. Could have ran it inside, hooked it to like a washing machine or something, but yeah, it's a little crazy to do to somebody. And I don't want to spend the $35 to have water turned on and off and wait for it to be turned on. So I filled up this IBC container. I've got my little pressure washer, which I'll just set down on the ground, hose out to that, and I don't think the water pressure makes any difference. I'm just pressure washing here and in the back. So we'll see how that works. I do have electricity. Here's the connection, just some sort of a rigged up PVC threaded piece onto the IBC with a bunch of silicone in there, and then whatever you need to do to get it to whatever valve you have. Pressure washer did a good job. That used about 25 gallons of water, so that's kind of a neat thing. I can see how much water I'm using, just as a curiosity more than anything. But also, if I ever have to go do any pressure washing, again, I can bring sort of the least amount of water that I need, because that's a lot of weight in my tiny little truck. It'd be better if I were to put it on a trailer. But while it doesn't look like brand new, it certainly looks better than what it looked like. And once it dries up, I think it'll maybe look a little better, kind of lighten up. Then I could go over it with some sort of a stain if I wanted to. Probably won't do that, just for time and cost and all that, but it certainly looks more cleaned up than the absolute black. But sure is a shame when people do silly stuff like that. But the issue could be resolved if I wanted to go all the way. I ended up kind of knocking the paint off the handrails here and there, but I just kind of went with it, lightly hit it to where I didn't fuzz the wood up too much. But I'll just get some paint and touch these handrails up. I apologize, but that is the end of the video. So I know that's abrupt, but I had to kind of end filming and just get to that place, get the place rental ready. The girl who applied like day 1 or day 2, and then it was rented. I mean, she got approved within the week, so they approved background checks, rental history, all that type of stuff. So that went through smooth. And so I needed to hurry up. So the person that left midway through the month, giving 1 day notice. So they lost their security deposit. So the security deposit doesn't really, I mean, I got it, but so that month was paid, and then this person moved in the next month. So I didn't have a huge amount of time to hurry up and get that done. But there was no loss in the rent, and I've never had that happen. The total cost of repairs was, I'd say $400 or $500 total what I did. That's not including fooling with all the pressure washing, getting all that ready, taking it up there. I would say that I added some labor into it, but in the end I didn't charge the amount. I can, the property manager will do that. You can kind of give them a reasonable hourly rate, how long it took you to do it, and then receipts on the repairs, and then they will add that to that person's account. That person pays it, and if they don't, they'll get a judgment on them to pay it. But usually judgments, you don't actually get paid for this stuff, because a lot of the people who do things like that, they just don't end up in the situation that forces them to end up paying it, which would be buying or selling a house within that county or city that is done in. But I ended up not charging them this because the person who lived there had a child, And then I was like, this is just going to negatively affect this child in a variety of ways, either financial, or the person's going to be fussing about it in front of the kid, and the kid's just going to be exposed to somebody being negative about me charging them this amount for the stuff that they did. So while I do think this person should have had the penalty of certain things they did, some of it falls into, I'll say, the rougher end of normal, but then it went beyond that with the disrespect of throwing the diapers in the woods and bags of trash over in the edge of the yard and tearing up the front yard, doing that with the truck. And some of the other things that were done in the house were just so obvious that it was just it's not my house, I'm in a hurry, I don't care, I'm out of here. So I wanted to punish the person in terms of charging them the amount of money and just to get my money out of it. Because it is a business. Don't think of this as any different than any other business. You can't walk in Walmart, pick up a bag of chips, eat half the bag of chips, talk about how much you don't like it, walk out the door and throw it in the trash. So bad tenants are kind of like that. It's like they cause problems, fuss about living there, and don't pay you. With that said, this is such a tiny, it's the first time I've ever had it happen using the rental management company. When I asked them about, like, does this happen often? They said out of like 50 to 100 tenants, you might get one that does this type of thing. That's because they go through all this rigmarole to find good tenants. Usually when it's a tenant through, at least my rental management company that I use, that isn't perfect, it's somebody who's had a cosigner. When it's somebody who can do an application and have credit checks and background checks and rental history, and they personally pass all those checks, it's good. But when it's mama signing something and it's an unproven tenant and it's a younger person, usually they're just not mature enough to handle the situation, and often it results in something that on the landlord side they pay for. When you have a responsible landlord and there's a problem, it's usually the tenant's fault. And if you're a renter out there and you're a great renter, this doesn't apply to you. But a lot of people, they got stinking thinking when it comes to the tenant-landlord relationship, which in reality, it's like, in my mind, it's upside down the way a lot of people think about it. Because as long as you've provided a house like you see me providing in these videos, there shouldn't be a lot of fussing, because it's all agreed upon in a lease, which is a contract that you agree on, what it's like when you move in, what it's going to cost, when you have to pay it, and what it needs to look like when you leave, who's responsible for this and who's responsible for that. But yeah, so that's that. The video was kind of abruptly ended because I needed to hurry up and get the house finished. But basically the house returned back to its normal condition minus a few things. The flooring I got to about 90-95% right. I had some leftover pieces from that floor, so I was able to work those in. What it is, I got them hot. I laid them on top of my black truck outside. The sun heated them up to where they were flexible, and I worked them back in and kicked the floor around and got it pretty good. Everything else was touch-up painting, spackling, removed that stuff from the inside of the shower using a hair dryer, heating it up. It took almost an hour to probably get those 2 strips off. I really don't like all that adhesive little 3M stuff that people stick everywhere. But I think that's about it. This house rents for like, I think $700. I know that sounds weird to not know, but the rental management company handles that. They take a portion out of it, and I'm getting a direct deposit to my account for multiple rental properties. So I'm just not keeping up with it precisely, and rent changes. I don't raise the rent on somebody while they're living there, for reference though. So once somebody moves in the house, I'll rent it out to them. I don't know how long I would rent it to them without changing the rent. Probably a very, very long time, because it's so nice when someone just stays in a place. It might not seem like a big deal to you to go to a house and do that little changeover between tenants, but I'm not looking to be a landlord. I wanted to invest in real estate and make money off that real estate through passive income, and there's different reasons when you do that versus trying to flip houses. Or Airbnb. Airbnb is just a job. People suggest it to me all the time, but they're at houses every weekend and throughout the week cleaning them and getting them ready again and addressing issues with these Airbnb customers. I wouldn't want to do that. I just want it to be long-term, even if you're not making as much money in the, per month. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't want to go on this video. It's supposed to be just a bonus video. Appreciate y'all watching. The $9,000 house will be the next video, and it may be this upcoming Tuesday, or I may stretch this one out to a 2-week because it's going to take me longer, and I would like to get a good amount done in each video. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be going for the upstairs bathroom or the staircase. I'm not sure. I'll probably do staircase because the bathroom's going to cost a lot more than the staircase is going to cost. So I think I might do staircase first while I build up the funds for the bathroom upstairs. So I think that's all I need to say in this video. I had notes on the phone, but I'm staring at the phone and I can't read them. I think that's it. You can check the description for all the stuff. I'll put the playlist for this video in the description. It'll also be at the end of the video where you can click on it, and I'll just take you right to the first video. And then there's a compilation video. It's about 10 minutes, shows the whole process in one video. I think it's got like 12 million views on it, so a lot of people have seen that one and liked it. The Patreon link will be in the description. That'll be the first link in the description. That's sort of a financial contribution to the channel. There's different tiers, and then there's like different things you'll get as a result of those tiers. Then I'll also put that in the comments. It'll be a pinned comment. But that's it. I appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you in the next video.